You just checked your phone. You don't remember deciding to do it. One moment you were doing something else, working, eating, sitting in silence. And then the phone was in your hand. Screen on, eyes scanning, nothing important there. Screen off, phone down. 30 seconds later, you'll probably do it again. The average person checks their phone somewhere between 96 and 144 times a day. That's once every 6 to 10 minutes across every waking hour. And when researchers ask people why they checked, most of them can't fully explain it. They say habit. They say boredom. They say they just wanted to see if anything was there. But something else is happening. Something much older than a smartphone. Something that predates the internet, predates electricity, predates written language, and has been shaping human behavior for hundreds of thousands of years. Your phone didn't create this compulsion. It just found it. To understand what's actually going on, you need to go back to a concept that behavioral psychologists discovered in the 1950s, in a laboratory, with a lever and a rat. B.F. Skinner was studying how animals learn. He already knew that if you press a lever and get a food pellet, you'll press the lever again. Reward creates repetition. That part was understood. But then one of Skinner's researchers made an accidental discovery that changed everything we know about compulsion, addiction, and the pull of modern technology. What happened when the pellet didn't come every time? When the reward became unpredictable? Sometimes you pressed the lever and got a pellet. Sometimes you didn't, with no pattern you could identify. The animal didn't lose interest. It became obsessed. The pressing became frantic, relentless, almost impossible to stop. Skinner called this variable ratio reinforcement, and it is, without question, the most powerful behavior-shaping force ever identified in psychology. Not because the reward is so good, but because not knowing when the reward is coming makes it impossible to stop looking for it. Your phone runs on this exact mechanism. Every time you check, you might find something good, a message from someone you care about, news that matters, a notification that makes you feel seen or wanted or informed, or you might find nothing. There's no schedule. There's no pattern. The ratio is variable, and your brain, running ancient social software, written for a world where missing something could mean missing everything, cannot resist checking. Here's where it gets deeper. Human beings are, at their core, social animals, not in a casual preference sense, in a survival sense. For the vast majority of human history, being connected to your group was not a lifestyle choice. It was the difference between living and dying. Isolation meant vulnerability. Being out of the loop meant missing the warning when predators were spotted, missing the signal when it was time to move, missing the information that kept the community alive. Your brain evolved an entire monitoring system designed to track social information constantly. Who is talking to whom? What is being communicated? Whether you are included or excluded. Whether the group's status has changed. Whether you are safe within it. That system never turned off. It was never supposed to. The moment you stopped paying attention to what was happening around you was a moment where something critical could be missed. Now compress that entire ancient system into a glass rectangle you carry in your pocket. Your phone is, to your nervous system, a social environment. It is where the group lives now. The notifications are signals from the tribe. The likes are status indicators. The unread messages are information you haven't processed yet. Your brain doesn't know that the stakes are low. It doesn't know that missing a text is not the same as missing a predator warning. It just knows that social information is arriving, and you haven't checked it yet. The anxiety you feel when you haven't checked your phone for a while is real. It has a clinical name now. Nomophobia. The fear of being without your phone. But it isn't really about the phone. It's about what the phone represents to the oldest parts of your nervous system, your connection to the group, your place in it, your safety within it. Kent Berridge, a neuroscientist at the University of Michigan, has spent decades distinguishing between two systems in the brain that most people assume are the same thing: wanting and liking. Liking is the pleasure you feel when something good happens. It's the satisfaction of a meal, the warmth of a good conversation, the genuine joy of a message from someone you love. Wanting is different. Wanting is the drive that moves you toward things before you know if they'll be good. It's the itch, the pull, the compulsion that keeps you checking even when you've just checked and found nothing. Berridge discovered that the wanting system is driven by dopamine. And crucially, dopamine is not released when you get the reward. It's released in anticipation of the reward. It's the neurochemical of not yet, the moment just before you find out, the second before the screen lights up. This is why checking your phone feels urgent, even when you have no reason to think anything important is there. Your dopamine system isn't responding to what the phone has given you. It's responding to what it might give you. The possibility, the maybe, the variable ratio. And it is relentless. Because here is the thing about dopamine and anticipation. The system doesn't fatigue the way satisfaction does. You can feel full after eating and not want more food. You cannot feel full from the wanting system. It just keeps firing. Keep checking. Keep scanning. There might be something there this time. The designers of modern technology understood this before most people did. Aza Raskin, the designer who invented the infinite scroll, the feature that makes social media feeds endless, with no natural stopping point, later said publicly that each scroll is worth about 200,000 additional hours of human attention per day, globally. He called it a slot machine in your pocket. He said he feels guilt about it. The slot machine comparison is precise. Slot machines were the first mass-market application of variable ratio reinforcement outside of a psychology laboratory. They were engineered to exploit exactly the same dopamine anticipation loop. The lever, the spin, the moment before you know. That moment is what the machine is selling. Not the win, the almost. Your phone is a slot machine you carry everywhere. You pull the lever with your thumb. But there is something else that makes the phone different from a slot machine. Something that makes the compulsion run even deeper. Social belonging is not just a preference in the human brain. It is a need, registered in the same neural regions as physical pain and hunger. Matthew Lieberman, a neuroscientist at UCLA, has shown through brain imaging studies that social exclusion activates the same areas of the brain as physical pain, being left out, being ignored, being disconnected. These experiences register in the body not as emotional discomfort, but as something closer to injury. And your phone is the device that tells you whether you are included or excluded, whether your message was seen, whether anyone responded, whether you exist in some small but real way in the social world of the people you care about. The checking isn't irrational. It's the ancient social monitoring system doing exactly what it was designed to do. Scanning for inclusion signals, checking for exclusion warnings, making sure you are still connected to the group. The fear that drives the checking is not anxiety in a clinical sense. It's the same signal that told your ancestors to pay attention when the fire went quiet, when the others stopped talking, when something in the social fabric shifted. You are doing what kept your species alive. The problem is that the system was calibrated for a world with 20 or 30 people in it. A world where the information arriving was actually critical. A world where the signal-to-noise ratio was very high, because almost everything that happened in your immediate social environment was relevant to your survival. Now the system is pointed at an environment with potentially billions of signals, most of them irrelevant, arriving in an unpredictable stream managed by algorithms specifically designed to maximize your engagement. The ancient monitoring system cannot tell the difference. It treats every notification like it might be important. It treats every unread message like it might be the one that matters. So it checks, and checks, and checks. There is no off switch. There was never supposed to be one. But here is what is worth sitting with. The compulsion to check your phone is not a character flaw. It is not evidence of weakness or lack of self-control. It is a hyper-ancient system running in an environment it was never designed for, doing exactly what it has always done, pointing its full attention at the social world, making sure you don't miss anything that matters. The slot machine found the lever that was already there. The next time you reach for your phone without deciding to, you are not failing at discipline. You are experiencing something that has been inside the human nervous system for hundreds of thousands of years, meeting a technology that was engineered specifically to find it. Understanding that won't make the pull disappear, but it might make the hand pause for just a second before the screen turns on. And in that pause, the moment between the wanting and the checking is something that didn't exist in the Paleolithic savannah. A choice.